Hello, and welcome to this edition of Focus on the Future. I am Council Chair Derrick Davis, and thank you for tuning in. We're moving forward with purpose in Prince George's County for a quality of life that brings us better schools, better health care, better transportation options, and new jobs and businesses. Stay tuned for this edition of Focus on the Future. We'll discuss the critical role of the community college and our libraries in the successful future of Prince George's County. Focus on the Future comes your way in just a moment.
You choose your doctors based on their experience and credentials. But what about nurses? Nurses providing specialized care can be nationally certified too. They're nurses who meet and exceed nationally recognized standards of proficiency and professionalism, with ongoing assessment and continuing education to maintain their specialized knowledge. Certified nurses and advanced practice nurses, they're everywhere in just about every area of specialized care. Sponsored by NCC and other certifying organizations. Visit certifiednurses.org.
Welcome to Focus on the Future, a production of the Prince George's County Council. We're breaking new ground every day in Prince George's County, doing big things on purpose and celebrating major projects like the Regional Medical Center, new places to live, work, shop, and play, and the expansion of National Harbor. We're enhancing our quality of life and on our way to becoming the region's next economic powerhouse. This is Focus on the Future with your host, Council Chairman Derrick Davis.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in to this edition of Focus on the Future. This program is a production of the Prince George's County Council. I am your host, Council Chair Derrick Davis. On this edition of Focus on the Future, we are discussing the crucial subject of education, the cornerstone of economic development and prosperity. Our investment in education at nearly $2 billion exceeds 65% of the county's total budget. This includes a commitment to educating our young people from pre-kindergarten through community college, as well as a continuing investment in our public library system. My first guest for this conversation is a leader in education who's been recognized year after year by Washingtonian Magazine as one of the region's 100 most powerful women. I am proud to welcome the 8th and first female president of Prince George's Community College, Dr. Charlene M. Dukes, for this edition of Focus on the Future. So good to see you, Doc. How have things been?
Oh, everything is fine, and thank you so much for having me. It's delightful to be here with you.
Oh, anytime I can have you on, I feel like I've actually accomplished my goal for the day. 30 years in higher education. How do you do it?
Well, I think you start off with something for me was just a chance opportunity. So I started working in higher education when I actually could not find a teaching job back in the early 80s. Wow. So that's how I got started as an admissions and financial aid counselor.
Wow. Something about the serendipity in that, of you not being able to find a job and then finding a job in higher education. I'm glad. 40,000 students at the community college?
40,000 students. We're the 4th largest community college in the state of Maryland, and we're the 7th largest institution of higher education. So we're well primed to represent the needs of the residents, our neighbors, and our communities here in Prince George's County, and I would dare say the region.
Absolutely. Accolades are far and bound. I remember visiting one time when the last president was here, Barack Obama. It was just such a soul-stirring moment. The auditorium was full, and there was a lot of commitment in that room. So tell me, as we look at the fact that in Prince George's County, about 2/3 of our money goes to education, and we start with pre-K. And as we look at pre-kindergarten services, and as it flows through the system, this council has looked at that and also added the library system. Tell me how you see that continuum of education working and how the community college fits into that continuum of education.
Well, there are two things I would tell you, Chair Davis. That first, our vision is to be the first choice for higher education for the residents of Prince George's County. And then what we do as a mission is we work hard to respond to both what we would call the transfer and the workforce needs of the students that we serve, making sure that our students have a rigorous quality education that will move them on to transfer institutions within the university system of Maryland or some of our neighboring communities, particularly in Washington, D.C. The other thing we do is we work with a variety of business partners to ensure that our students who wish to do so can move into the world of work. And you know the work that we've done with MGM, National Harbor, with, I would say, the public school system, and there are a number of other business entities around our community where we're training our students to take those jobs of the future.
It's a beautiful thing, just the partnering and the relationships to create that workforce development. I believe the workforce of the future, and as we look at it, there was such an emphasis when we were younger on four-year institutions. The two-year institutions have really become a prominent factor in workforce development. It seems to me that most companies want to buy into opportunities to partner with two-year institutions to help them develop their workforce. Have you been experiencing that?
Oh, absolutely. And as we think about the new hospital that's coming to Prince George's County, what I would say is that both the county council and the county executive have been just stellar in their commitment to ensure that the college representatives are sitting at the table. We're thinking about the jobs that will be necessary and needed as we think about health care, not just from the hospital setting, but all of those attendant industries and businesses that will arise out of that, and ensuring that the community college has a place at the table. We understand the needs, and then providing us with the resources necessary to develop more programs, expand current programs, and ensure that we always have a well-qualified faculty that's sitting in front of our students, working with them as they pursue their education.
You're creating the most diverse workforce probably in this country, and I flatter just a little, but the reality is that we're starting to see that everyone in this region is taking a note of what's happening here in Prince George's County. And I think the relationship between the public school system and the community college is one of those things that many people might hear a little bit about, but maybe not know much about. So thinking about the middle college and things like that, could you just elaborate?
So what I would tell you, the Academy for Health Sciences, which is the state's first middle college, and in its current form continues to be the only middle college of its kind. We have a full high school on our campus, grades 9 through 12, in partnership with the Prince George's County Public Schools, and we've already graduated 3 classes. So we've taken 100 students per year, so we have about 283 students who've graduated over a 3-year time frame with their high school diploma and their associate degree in the same day, and they've taken with them $30 million in transfer scholarships. Combine that with 2 information technology early colleges that exist at the Chesapeake Math and Information Charter High School, and there's a north location and a south location. Think about P-Tech, our Pathways in Technology. We have 2 programs at Frederick Douglass High School, Hospitality Management and Health Information Management. All of those young people will graduate in their senior year of high school with an associate degree.
If the camera can catch me just brimming here, when I hear about the opportunities for our young people who come through our school system, who actually decide to matriculate through our community college, I bubble up, and it's hard to contain. And one of the council members, Ms. Harrison, she often says, most people never hear us tell our story. And I think that today is one of those days we just need to tell our story and sing it high from the rooftops.
And you know what I would also talk about is the investment that Prince George's County has made in the work that we do. We just started a Prince George's County Promise Scholarship Program. And what we're trying to do with the help of, again, the council and the county executive is to give people the promise of education by helping to bridge the gap between financial aid and the cost of tuition and fees. So what we're looking at is how we can serve anywhere from 300 to 500 young people who are recent graduates of the Prince George's County Public Schools within the last 2 years, and we can help to provide them funding to continue their education. There are a few things that they must do, and that's graduate.
That's right.
But absolutely, that's something that we want to do that we would not have been able to do without your vision and the vision of your colleagues.
Thank Thank you. I'm just excited about it. And as a matter of fact, I have to ask this question so I can go home and have dinner tonight. One of the things that as I'm coming up and down 202, and when my wife is in the car, she looks over at the community college, because she actually took classes at the community college before we got married. And she says, "What are they building now?" She's watching the growth. And I said, "You remember we went to a few dinners and they said they want to have these new buildings, but it's hard for me to keep up with what happened." Talk us through all of the new changes that are going on with regard to construction at the community college.
And I'll do that quickly. Again, something we couldn't do if it wasn't a partnership between the county and the state. We're building a new culinary center that will have 5 commercial kitchens in it, because we want to make sure that our residents can take advantage of this booming hospitality center. We're building a new Queen Anne Center for the Performing Arts. So we'll have 3 theaters in it, entertainment technology, recording studios, another TV studio, dance studios, choral rooms. So we're really looking at ways that not only that we educate young people who are interested in these fields, but we provide an opportunity for the community to be in partnership with us as we think about how we bring the arts and food to Prince George's County.
What a great time to be a student. How about
and it's
that?
a great time to work there as well.
Absolutely. Tell me about the Diverse Male Student Initiative.
Well, the Diverse Male Student Initiative is something we started now about 7-8 years ago, where we recognized that while we were young men of color were coming into the college, they weren't leaving with the kind of success that we believed that they should have. And this was a national phenomena. And so we sat down at Prince George's Community College and said, we're going to do better. As young men of color come into our institution, we're going to provide a plethora of wraparound services, and we're going to be focused on their success. So to date, we have, while we serve more than the number of men who are in the Diverse Male Student Initiative, we have 700 men who've gone through the program. Their success rates have gone through the roof with regard to not just persistence in higher education, but graduation and also transfer to 4-year institutions or moving into the world of work. So we believe that we've touched the lives of not just 700 young men who've chosen this program as an avenue, but their families and their communities. And we think that that's terribly important.
It is critical. I often say to my friends, and especially in education, if not in Prince George's County, where?
Absolutely.
You know, we are a place where ultimately we're working together to ensure that all students of color, males and females, have an opportunity to grow. And so that brings me to the final question, really. How can we, with this moment that we have, get our community more involved with the community college? What do you need us to be doing?
Well, I think it's recognizing that here in Prince George's County, we have a community college that's really worth reckoning with, that we are always looking at the needs of our community and trying to open our doors and develop programs that will serve those needs. We have a tremendous relationship with our business community, and we need more. We need our students to be thinking about internships and externships and clinical experiences, and that doesn't happen without partnerships. So as we continue to work together, I think it's always looking at partnerships and what we do on behalf of the residents that we serve.
And the key and critical word is partnering. You know, quite honestly, when it comes down to creating the environment that we really want to put out to the rest of the world, is that this is the place to come if you want to be a partner.
Absolutely.
We're not here to fight. What we're here to do is build consensus and collaborate and create great opportunities for students. You know, we often joke about the fact that we're in a competition with the rest of the country for companies like Amazon, but I think if they hear the story of Prince George's County, the diversity, the education opportunities, and all of the things that we're doing, I don't think they have a choice.
And where innovation plays a significant role in the ability to think very creatively and, again, with relationship building.
It's all about relationships. Everything's about relationships. Thank you, Doc. Well, it's time for a brief break, but I don't want to go away. There is much more to come as we continue this important conversation about education in Prince George's County with the co-CEO of the Prince George's County Memorial Library System. Focus on the Future returns in just a moment.
Learning is about more than just letters and numbers. Social and Emotional Learning, or SEL, teaches kids how to handle emotions, set goals, and make good decisions. Being able to understand the other's feelings helps grow relationship skills. Teaching children how to have healthy relationships provides a foundation for learning. Try this. Group children into pairs and have them sit back to back. Give one a picture from a book and have them describe it to the other, who will draw a picture based on what they hear. Discuss with kids that what they hear doesn't always match what someone is trying to say. This is important to remember when someone hurts our feelings. Parents, caregivers, and teachers can ensure that social and emotional learning is an important part of a child's overall health and well-being. To find out more, visit First Book at firstbook.org/SEL. First Book is a nonprofit organization providing all children with equal access to the books and resources they need to succeed.
Welcome back to Focus on the Future, a production of the Prince George's County Council. I'm Council Chair Derrick Leon Davis, your host. If you haven't visited a county library lately, you are in for a 21st century education experience that includes computers with free internet, resources for job seekers, meeting spaces for community programs and career classes, and a quiet, comfortable place to study. And an atmosphere for creativity at every age. Joining me now is the Co-Chief Executive Officer of the Prince George's County Memorial Library System, Michelle Hamiel. Welcome to Focus on the Future.
Thank you. Great to be here.
So 25 years in the library system.
Yeah, well, it's actually been a little bit more than that.
Oh,
I've been in the library system for over 30 years. I was 2 when I started.
Watch out. Well, do tell me a little bit about being interim co-CEO of our library system.
I am having a fantastic time. I've been co-CEO now since August 1st, when Kathleen Tease left. And I've had my first bout with the budget cycle. That's right. Before then, I've only had a little portion of the budget cycle. Right. Now, Michael and I have that budget cycle as a whole.
It's yours.
Yes, it is ours. But it's been a fantastic opportunity being here as Chief Operating Officer and now as co-CEO. You know, I feel like we are making a difference in this county. We are stepping out and trying to be that premier independent education system with free services. You know, we have our community colleges, we have our universities, but we're the only free education system in the county.
Wow. Look, it's so amazing that for many years, and we talk about education from the perspective of public school education, and for many years we started to think a little bit about the fact, oh, well, we have a community college. And then after a while you start to think about the four-year institutions. Yes. But rarely do you hear an articulation of the library system as part of an education system. Yes. And we on the county council thought it was very important to begin to look at our community and how we educated all of our children from home through our systems into business opportunities. Here's the harder part that us who are not professionals probably can't answer. How do you keep your finger on the pulse of what it means to be a library system?
You know, it really depends on the communities you're serving. So when we look at Prince George's County as a whole, we look for the gaps in those communities. So what needs are not being met? The needs that the school system can't necessarily meet, the needs that the community colleges can't meet, and then we're looking at what's happening in the country in general. So I'm attending Urban Libraries Council conferences, American Library Association conference. Right now I'm also the conference chair for the Maryland Library Association. So, you know, we have the opportunity to be with library directors from all over this country and looking at things that they're doing to fill gaps in communities. And when I say that we are looking at what happens in this county, we conduct surveys to find out what people want in this community and try to fill those gaps.
So, you know, before my life as a council member, I actually worked in the school system and I did early childhood education. I worked with the Head Start program, Title I school program, and the Comer School Development Program. And we used to talk about the importance of early childhood from the perspective of the library system. what do you think about its impact on our early childhood environment?
So many of our parents don't have their children in daycare, even with the Head Start opportunities. So many parents don't put their children in daycare, formal daycare. And we make sure that through our story times, all of our librarians are trained. They go through a Storytime Academy, and that academy teaches them how to introduce ECRR2 into a Storytime curriculum. Our parents understand the importance of early education. We make sure that when our parents walk away from a Storytime, not only have their children been educated, but we teach them what they can do at home to enforce education. And it's always learning through play.
Yeah, I mean, we felt that to be so important in early literacy and having access to books in the home and stretching from our education, our formal education environments to our informal education environments, the opportunity to create a rich literacy background. We used to, at Head Start, I remember one of the things that we always would start that always touched me so was, you always have to remember that the parent is the child's first teacher.
Absolutely.
And that piece is really the crux of educating our community at a next level. Getting children into learning environments early, critical, you know, and so that was one of the reasons that as a county council we were so adamant with regard to funding our pre-K through community college and library system when we had the opportunity to create new resources through the advent of the MGM resort down at National Harbor. You know, there seems to be a little bit of something for everyone now at the libraries. When you think about the library of old compared to the library of new, tell me what you think. How did you see the growth? What do you see as and what's next?
Oh my goodness. So the library of old really wasn't as inviting. So now we are really working on getting the uninvited into the library. We're making sure that everybody feels welcome when they enter our doors, from our preschoolers to our seniors. And there's something there for everyone. So we still have our traditional users, those who are walking in and they just want a book and they want that hard copy of a book and because they want to be able to turn the page. But then we have our children coming in who are looking for something different. And that may mean we're having STEM activities because they aren't necessarily getting the science, technology, engineering, and math that they would ordinarily get in school or that we used to get in school. They are coming to, we were the first in the state to offer virtual reality, augmented virtual reality programs in the library system. Nice. So we're exposing our kids to a lot. We have in our Sojourner Truth Room we're partnering with the county. Okay. And so we are creating a museum-like quality for our African American incorporated towns, but we wanted to take it a next step. We want children to enter the Sojourner Truth Room in our Oxonell Library and learn how to plan communities. And so they have access now to AutoCAD. There's a 3D printer there, and we're going to offer programs that offer our children the opportunity to sit down and learn how to do urban planning. Wow. So we really want to be a part of that education system and on the customer's terms, so that if you want to come, you can. Nobody's forcing you to do this, but we want to make a difference.
Well, you know, when I was a teenager, I remember my mom, all I had to do was say I was going to the library and she let me drive the car. So I learned early. But it seems today, how do we keep our teens engaged in the library? Now you got PDAs, iPads, TV, video games, you know, all these kinds of things. It seems like a lot of competition to get a teen in the library. What do we do?
You know, it's still the place to go. So at Bowie, it's almost natural. They come right from Bowie High School. We're connected to Bowie High School. They come right over, and so we have all kinds of programming happening in Bowie. But it's not just Bowie. I've been really, really excited about some of the things happening in our other libraries. In the Hyattsville branch, we have a teen advisory program. Here's what's interesting. People think that the teens in general, but teens in this county really aren't interested in social activities, or they aren't interested in getting involved in community. Well, our teens have put put together lunch bags for food banks. They have, in our Hillcrest Heights, we have a program called Local Strength. It's all teens. They have worked on creating a website for a shelter for abused women. So, you know, and it's all free, and it's something that they want to do. Those teens in both of those groups have the opportunity to say what they want to do. And some of it's fun, so they're doing some gaming, but a lot of it is giving back to the community. And I've just been amazed at what they've been able to do.
That's amazing. And I find myself saying wow a lot today. I mean, a lot of this I've heard a little bit about, but as you articulated and as we tell the story, it's something that really feels good about the opportunities that are still there that we used to take advantage of. And, you know, we always talk about STEM in education. How does the library support science, technology, engineering, and math with our school system?
So we have two programs. One's for little ones.
Okay.
So they're getting STEM even in story time. So that's for the ages 5 to 8. And then we have a program for 8 to 12. It's STEMtastic. And
STEMtastic.
STEMtastic.
I love it.
And they're being exposed to coding. Even at a young level age, they're being exposed to coding. They're being exposed to virtual reality.
Wow.
And so it's getting the children from early education through middle school, and then the high schoolers kind of tell us what they want.
Okay. So I remember the days of the library card. Those days gone?
Not like you would think. So
Okay.
we still have library cards. One of the things that we do have is now Link. It is the library card for, library account for all students in Prince George's County Public
Okay.
Schools. It gives them 24/7 access to resources, and all they have to do is use their student ID number.
So once they get a student ID number, which every student gets in school,
That's right.
they just go to the library and they just need to know their student ID
They
number.
just need to know their student ID number.
And now we
They
get a
can-
card.
They have access. They don't have to get a card. Just know your ID number. That gives
And
you
that's it.
access to materials. You get to borrow materials,
Wow.
use the computers, participate in programming. One of the reasons we did that is so that they will have access at home. That's the important key. If you don't have a library card, you can't use our resources at home necessarily. And we want to make sure our kids have 24/7 access. Our kids are involved in after-school programs. They're involved in sporting events. And so they don't always get to come in the library after school. But if they're home, they'll have access.
It really feels like an investment well placed from the perspective of the outlook and making sure that the collaboration and the efforts between libraries, public schools, and our community college is starting to take hold.
Yes.
It's an exciting time, and utilizing those resources appropriately bears the fruit. I often in my meetings in the Washington Metropolitan Council of Governments, we talk about this region and the richness and the diversity and the opportunity and the education that's going on. And I always try to tell them that Prince George's County is right there on the cutting edge of making all of that happen.
Yes.
And in its programs, we had Dr. Dukes here earlier, and things that we're doing in our Memorial Library system are brilliant. And I'm just, again, just welled up with excitement. I can't stop saying wow. I mean, you called it STEMtastic.
Yes.
I love it.